the thought of this happening is horrifying.
I actually got a letter from the TCEQ that my neighbor was applying to discharge wastewater, and learned that neighbor was Elon, and I had some concerns based on the behavior I've seen as his neighbor over the last 2 years.
This stuff, and we don't even know what it is, going into the river that we depend on for food production.
My thoughts when I learned of how much they were going to be dumping into the local water supply was, honestly, I was not surprised. It's one of those things where if you pay attention and you watch what corporations do and how they behave, it doesn't surprise me. It does, however, anger me, especially because this company and the owner of this company want to put themselves on a pedestal of, we are doing things better. We're looking towards the future. This is not looking towards the future. This is not looking towards the future of the children, the animals, anything to do with the ecosystem.
To hear the volume that it will be, it's like you can't believe it, and yes, you can't not believe it, because what is the world? What is important? Is the money important? Is the business important? Is the technology important? Or are the people important?
What they're doing on their property concerns me a lot, because my family pulls from a well and we share groundwater there and we share the air, and unfortunately they are not careful in how they treat those shared resources.
Well, I worry more about everybody else in the Bastrop County than I do myself. I am in a pretty protective area. I still live on the old home place that's been in the family for all that period of time. But the river is not far from me, and I just worry about everybody that's going to be connected with the river.
I'm part of a community that does children like nature hikes, and we do a lot of river activities. These are kids anywhere from 18 down to baby, and them being in that water multiple times a week for about 7 months a year, because Texas weather, facilitates that. It's alarming. It's something that, we have to make a choice to go in that water or not if they start dumping, because we know there could be an inherent risk to exposing them to whatever is in the wastewater. And so they're taking something away from just us living here and the pleasure of raising children here and being able to enjoy that river the way we do now. Because we love the Colorado River, we love living here, and he will absolutely destroy our love because it will turn to fear.
Texas water is sacred, and I think we need to be really careful about adding any kind of new discharge to the river. This area has incredible high growth that Elon kicked off, and so we are seeing more and more permits to do this work.
So Elon, if you see this, I want you to know that you need to get your mess together, because this is a hot mess, and everything you ever talk about and you ever say is that you're this genius. And if you're so smart, then you need to recognize what you are doing to a community and its water source.
We wish that all these industries would be good neighbors. My job is to grow food and flowers for people who live near me. I want to be a good neighbor. I want to be respected.
You have endless amounts of money. You could be pushing us into the future with innovative ways to treat the wastewater. Not what you're doing. What you're doing now is an old practice that should be put to rest. We shouldn't be dumping into the river, period. There's so much possible good that could come out of someone with that kind of money to impact the way that wastewater is processed. And he is wasting an opportunity to use his resources to better this planet.
It's time to show up. It's time to follow the law. We welcome you. We're glad you're here. Thank you for the jobs. Thank you for this growth. But we're not going to do this the wrong way.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about Bastrop not being Bastrop.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, the biggest concern is that there have been no public discussions about the industrialization of a beautiful area that has been marketed as an agritourism center for years and years and years. So no one is discussing that we are now turning this into an industrial zone. And if that's the plan, then the people who live here need to know that. We need to stop marketing Bastrop as a tourism destination if in fact it's just going to be a great big crater.
There is a part of me that is very concerned about that, and I'm trying to measure it with the fact that I know we need more conscientious businesses in our community. So although I don't want to see this community explode and have the ecological impacts that you see in so many other places when large companies come in and say, hey, look at this pristine land, this would be nice to build something and F it up. I don't want that to happen, but I'm also trying to measure that with the fact that I know we do need some industry, but the industry coming in needs to be a lot more cautious about what they're doing.
No, Bastrop is going to be Bastrop, and the people who love it and live here and continue to make this a special place. I got a lot of love for Boca as well, but we're going to do everything we can to make this a positive thing for the county.